be. Shall I say that pende Ghana Premier League week number 15 etimi eba so da pen ye wremi ye de ni echrem week number 16 interesting matches and ebetimi akoso ye behwe na ye ba bedimo enkomo after say Pando Heart of Lions ekodi nkugu edema Samates on betimi atena fie edi nkunim over Mediama Eduana FC after say wotena fie Heart of Folk ebo draw no onini chrem ewo wanchi okobo Young Apostles Asante Kotoko etena fie Bechem United and so ediabueni Heart of Folk obo betena fie ewo University of Ghana Sports Stadium over the FC Samates and Airboy depending match ben na wo hwe match ben we need di akire ni nyina live ewo Onua TV so media di Solomon Abankwada Superman enche meda babedwafo no edi na yetimi edi nkomo ne akoye bronya yi ma mentwa me honji bronya chede embra kitwe bi ye ba ye be hye nkomo twetwe no ase
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one.
Facebook, and YouTube, Instagram, go follow, now subscribe to the Ghana Premier League, you know, but and I'll be your Premier League updating you now. Now, so with me, I enjoy. And many the statistician of the Ghana Football Association, or the biggest ambassador of the Ghana Premier League. Now, you crano or no printing exercise books with images of the top players in the Ghana Premier League, and then they were starting grassroots or chair at the schools in the idea. Said they pay a bit me picture the Ghana Premier League, you know, and you don't pepper so ye pese ye huno. Muhammad Shaban and okay. Chairman, boko de.
So no bibia boko and every nya de me coin.
Oh.
Anadia some in
okay, so between mosque and the church, they now pay.
Bibia de me ko bia me ko.
Okay. Nti me do be kwa sorry ne yakobọ mpaye.
Okay.
This year why boni bebre. Boni a dia ye me no nya boni ketwa. Nti si ano woji tum so why boni. Ah okay. Waji ade bi wo fie ha eni se woji. But bende. Ma me cha Mrs. Hansen. Nyame ka ho na onyo kese. Mo it was an exciting weekend. A lot of games so over the course of last week. But na me say when some of the players need to quite echo South Africa, echo ball Anyakuya can see. How was the experience for you seeing local Premier League players against top internationals? Almost academy the Bafana.
Well, sure I wa hani ye basically say you be promoting your local based players. Na ya konya kese say many omonso be South Africa. Na ya kwa hwe how omobody mbon ye de omobomu a ombetimi esi akan because your other conform comment say the league no can players nbo ni omuntumi mbo ene ye we bi mu believe so ombetimi aiden abo and a big platform obo against Bafana omo call AFCON enti ye course ye mom game and be the masu to form just after the game and he go Blues ebisa Kasiminglo can say we sure so we local based players no say that be board do because the way to be detective pace against you know not another again na South Africans na nkasa feel say we need local based team but me jina how no be ba me say kudus we and I so kudus nkan na say na kudus nkan na mo twetwe yan no na me say on count no kan kwa de anka game no muntumi mbo and any a big one because Safa South African Football Association me ko ho mkochia o na me ka chom so ye the local team naba ye ba be show ye show mu wi a mu bra Ghana league na be follow na o monitor and after that me san ko ho ni o ko bon ko na me see honestly this is one of the best teams so mu nya ya o be san boy every year na mu dey improve na me say why not ye dey wo mo so big opportunity and players no market you after the game we say na South Africans no akọ root of war na me say me share mu nja na mai na me fa ma de mbie fie me pese mu be ha na adwe
ye hear more the Ghana Premier League of course now said Oka Rudolph Wasem no over the weekend na oni action but so do All Blacks echo bechem etimi ekodi enkuku Heart of Lions without 3 key players Wamonso Eko Samra Boy Ekodi Eye Encho any adia. Yanko na Yanko week 15. Some of the exciting games set off the Ghana Premier League anymore.
to take the corner. Sends one and Jabal fails to deal with it well. Owusu, and that's the opening goal. Mante swings in across. Kamara Dini arrives. Chance for Mediama. Brian finds the equalizer. Mediama have equalized through Kingsley Brian.
And he say, and yeah, games no it me call yeah, the Ghana Premier League anymore. But then yes, spend even time. Game na because ye Cobrunya. I'll say yen shift na yet me call. Me jina hasi can't see him how before me pee. Me mean to me for BMP. We are not well before me pee. Inti I don't know. But that pende a lot of games koso na nina so live near TV. So don't forget say they are hard to folk on Friday. One more tenefie na Omone FC Summer Test 1996. Etimi Abweni. But just game near live near TV on Saturday. 3:30 p.m. Heart of Lions Pando Sports Stadium. Wamobeshwe na fe omone Mediama Sporting Club. And so Abweni. Saturday now. Vision FC Temani Eje Kreku the first stadium. Temani Town. Omni Nations FC and Ebo. On Sunday, Asante Kotoko Babayara Sports Stadium. Omni Bechem United and Ebo. 3:30 p.m. Sa game no air live near TV. So Saso and Go Stars. Ombetena Bibiani Dance Park. Omani Dreams FC and Ebo. Baseke Holy Stars etna AAK the second Arena Ampain Omani Hohoi United and Ebo any Young Apostles Winchi Park Omobetana Senafi Omani Adriana FC Aboso Swedro All Blast Swedro Sports Stadium Omani Karela United and Ebo na Udweni Chem Brekum Golden City Park Eswa Brekum Chelsea Omosobetana Fie na Omani 11 Wonders etimi abo eni we games are ebeba so live the Ghana Premier League in the big games. Yes, starting on Friday. Summer Test against Heart of Folk at the University of Ghana Sports Stadium. Obianim say Hearts Omomu Viko UG Honomono. They are yet to lose a game with that facility. They play against Summer Test.
Well, Ebane say young call UG dia na Yakunya kese di Heart to Folk and 7 matches a house are born with Fie this season. We move 5 or born across Sports Stadium. Or we need 1 pair. And now we move to UG University of Ghana Stadium. We about 2 we winning in now. We are picking all the 6 points, and so a big advantage at the man. Or boy against FC Samatex. Now Samatex no solo or no 7 matches are about winning now. Or winning bakumpo. But the advantage I want to say Otabo drop out of the 7 matches. No about draw 4. And I will lose 3. And I will pick 4 points out of a possible 21. Enti netches on also we Jumayo because a ban away performance nyama enko yemfaman on records FC Samatex and share House of Folk da ewa away league game and also Emma Heart of Folk that hope going into the fixture at the University of Ghana Stadium. But then taking note say we the very first time Heart of Folk elbow a yes Samatex ewo University of Ghana Stadium. All matches on my ball 2022-23, 2023-24. Nini na obo no the Accra Sports Stadium. This is Heart of Folk Samatex combined matches on my ball na both home and away. But yendi country Heart of Folk or both home against Samatex. I have no results. But solution BB 2022-23 has home against Samatex 0-0. 2023-24 has game against Samatex 0-0. And at 2024-25 has share Samatex 1-0. It tells you that Samatex versus Heart of Folk. Samatex in share away go against Heart of Folk. Ewo league mu. And ye nim safe na oba beya. Heart of Folk ewo UG so in 2 matches our born on lose here, on concede here, and that puts pressure on FC Samatex going into the fixture. And Christopher Enin would have to put in extra work. So person Bibia Samatex etime picking points against Heart of Folk. So Obo Fie and then no crown 2022-23 Osher 3 has Shebi. 2023-24 Osher 2 has Shebi. And last season Samatex and Heart of Folk 2 matches on Obo in Samatex and Shegu both home and away. And it means that all matches played between Samatex and Heart of Folk under coach Christopher Edin, Samatex and Samatex and so and share go into the fixture. Now, yen share Adeba Kwa, a key going into the fixtures between both teams no but adeba ko ama observe was Samatex team no mu pace and so BB this is the pacey Samatex side on between now a good pass and a Brenton in Saka ball no look at a J passer on my and a result into a goal a long pass and now Odinya Branton 18-yard box. This is Ejenim Boateng in the 18-yard box. And a player back was saying Heart of Oak should watch out. Ejenim will pace from Heart of Lions or Jibona or pace or bit me control game. No, Nani assist and also and build up, quick build up, and then Mama, who is currently the top scorer of AFC Samatex, said to me convert and so any idea back I was a Heart of Oak defense no extra because Mama. A clinical finisher and Ejenim Boateng and so pacer or meet me that distracted the current Heart of Oak team. Again, where you Heart of Oak now, Osha chance to create against Team Efeno, Diana FCA, and also create a hobby to Samatex. Say, look, say Heart of Oak to me a Kodoma. Oh baby, I'm unbeaten. Though proud to their game, Diana Abojo against Baseke and Mediama Sporting Club. No, na ayo bia one say a certain Heart of Oak Akodomako keep clean sheets. Proud to the game in 5 consecutive seasons. Na Heart of Oak and to me and keep clean sheets. Yeah, on keep clean sheets. Go cross abono again. Go cross abono. But clean sheets to me aba, and that is where Samatex must be very careful because Hearts would go all out and create chances against them. And so a tough one, and Kweku Boateng, the young chap, an opportunity to no, or to me approve say ampa when given the not to start for Heart of Oak. Adia over to me aye Juman. But young drawing board no na memfa wonsi on this game. And drawing board no the adeba kwa me person me can ever drawing board near the strengths of players are and Mauli Wayo are the biggest strength of Heart of Oak. Hamza Issa at the University of Ghana. Don't forget that the last game Mamubu will feel or share go. And so or a tormentor and then Kakari and so available. But Mama is a top scorer of FC Samatex and then Sapon and so a good player and then Ejenim Boateng. So all attacking game we will see a certain Wayo Hamza Kakari, we will see Sapon Mama Ejenim Boateng leading the attack, creating chances, putting pressure on the opponents. Right.
I know I am Mo Shaban on also the comment on to bet back on Facebook and also the one there Eddie at 200 member I bet not for Yaka in Eddie about. But Yanko na Yanko ready other live gamer Ebeto Fem Ewo Onia TV so Shannon so say the other live game no because to Akpandu Sports Stadium. Eho and Akpandu Heart of Lions Fie no matter sa Eddie Afre Mediama Sporting Club. As weather said, Pando Heart of Lions ever recover in their last 4 games in the Ghana Premier League. But I had Dean, Ediama Bashe Hayford, and I fake Pando Heart of Lions. Mediama a draw against Baseke Holy Stars. This time around, or Pando against a teamer in their last 4 or 5 games. I have very difficult. Ediama Mo said on who game no.
Well, Heart of Lions, our challenging moment. After their first 3 games, especially when Kojo Obin Jr., Chelsea Freeman, Paul Ateje, Michael Efson, leading the attack, Oba midfield was Samuel Buamakwansa, Eche Dogli, Ishmael Ado, Jibona Efe. A delight to watch. And so, just after 3 matches, now everyone, Pandit TP Heart of Lions, some between Aji League, Ofa Mediama Sporting Club. Omunsukuta the same fate after 3 matches. No BRC Mediama and Ebeji League, because Abdul Salam, Kevin Nkrumah, any Derek Fordwo, any Prince Owusu, Yimanol Owusu, Omuninaye attackers at any point in time. Omu assistia, Ombetwatna, Eddie Bemau, and so now Omukuta good size, but it looks like Heart of Lions form gradually, and so Tiba from 5 matches. 3 consecutive losses in their last 3 games, and in the last 5, 2 draws, 3 losses, and 2 draws in their previous 2 matches, and at the last 3, starting from Nations FC defeat to a Diana home defeat, and Sana Omosan Airco away, Akolusu 1-0 to FC Samatex. Now, Adiba Kwa Lions and they Abeshom so because the last 2 home games are Karela Kobo draw and a Marcelo Sutuediana. And so psychologically, a heavyweight demand Mediama, especially when Solo Mediama last 4 away matches or you're unbeaten.
Yeah.
Now Kobo against a side that the last 5 matches or you're winless. The last 2 home games or sounds here winless. The last 2 home games were picking 1 point in a possible 6, and that puts a lot of pressure on Heart of Lions. And gradually, so almost failing to win these games there are chances of winning the league where the strength of the Premier League is at home. Now Lions air dropping points at home. Now Mediama air picking points at away. And even push your chances of going top or winning the Premier League. So don't forget that Mediama sound outstanding game ball.
Yeah.
And it's no for 1 point psychologically a bit boosting the chances of going all out and win the league. Tanko Ibrahim versus Bashir Ford. I'm sure Lions but I feel they me have back on 1 or 2 recruitment to beef up their squad and make sure say me all out and then get the win. Mediama a good side. Unfortunately, on the last game, my boy against Baseke, going to me and winning, but they would want to make amends going to the fixture. Last 4 positive. Omasha 11 wonders. Omako 5 points against Hoho United, and we're able to make a morale booster going into the game. But I don't see how Media Abenya all the 3 points. But Heart of Lions, Echedogli are returning. You didn't call your son the number. I'm sure it's a midfield number year. Ediama a Media to break through and get that win.
Right.
So Lions advantage.
Of course, I know Mo Shaban then come out the Atuja Lions advantage say Nyame Duma Saturday obetibenya all 3 points ewo Pando. Sunday yebeka ko piemo ewo Kumase Baba Yara Sports Stadium eho and Kumase Asante Kotoko Ethne Fie nominate Bechem United and so Ede Agweni. Asante Kotoko are yet to lose a match at home since November last year. It looks very difficult for Team BR. So betimi Ashe Asante Kotoko ewo Fie. Mo Bechem United, I find I'm already them under Kobina Emisa, but they are coming up against Asante Kotoko, especially El Babea Sports Stadium.
Well, what can be now a very key Kotoko Fie since November 2024, or we unbeaten since 2025 in the league at home, or we unbeaten with Fie. Now, interestingly, we win 14 of their home games and then 4 are ending a draw. Sad draw games na 4 no bechem san wo mu bi. Enti ope side na Kotoko picking the rhythm o wini a obese no bechem United. Now yenhwe bibi that was the 1-1 in the 2024-25 season. Now Solowasha started with a partner na bechem ntumi nhye goal kra na Kotoko so hye di bebre ene so tiba so tiba ama so aba betikwa ma baye 1 goal pe. So 2020-21 4-0 for Kotoko against Bechem we Kotoko home. Ene so tiba 2-0. Ene samba 1-0 in all the 3 matches na Bechem ntumi nhye. Ena fe Bechem asa be start nhye ba Kotoko 1 goal di there a constant 1-1 1-1 in the last 2 seasons. But the biggest advantage is Kotoko a total of 18 games with Fie only so back kumpo. But for Bechem this season, Solo, very poor performance because in 7 matches at Bechem bow away this season, no, that is 21 points. No, for just 1 pay. 20 ashegu. And that was the game boy against Mediama 0-0. And even that game Shego. And so that is a poor run for Bechem. And all the analysis now. Na just a game one Bechem United ain't me winning because of form obukuta. Now me no hwe adie bi ewa ha yɛbɛhwɛ ɔmo tactical display no but ansa na yɛbɛhwɛ no yɛnhwɛ ɔmo mmienu nyinaa ɔmo strength and weakness and this is Kotoko and adeɛ baako a ɛyɛ biggest problem abɛkyɛm ɛyɛ spaces ɔmo kɔ away a ɔmo allow and when you do that against Kotoko ɔmo bɛ punish you. Look at the position of Kwame Poku and yɛkɔ ɔsɛ Kwame Poku baby order and ɔno na ogyina ha nom no when the last ball when na Kwame Poku Dreams FC defenders ne gyaa no and hwɛ ɔmo gyaa no no na atɔ ne nan so quick one no the ball no atwat name e the amati me friend Kotoko so the more you allow him woman space a obeshel and so Yahweh champion any eye Sanut mu e we adwumaye e we the defensive line of Bechem United because adwuma no so again Kotoko build up biom e say after say we allow mu almost space in the 18-yard box o some almost space from the wing backs a bit me cause problem why because Bechem United wing back baako a obono your friend Boat Regan or your midfielder who born as a right back but my born as a left back or per se or best surge forward more so the more you create space for him or best cause a problem and this is where Kotoko Walid Fuseni ewo pace and unfortunately when to me unconvertible ball no but to me unto name after all the efforts of Walid Fuseni again the strength of Kotoko and a display wahana we who says so mkuta ball no more space from the flanks are omu opponent ometumi ahawadwen ye besa hwe Bechem and this is Bechem United ye dina yenim Augustino Kra oha adwene Darwin Yeboah oha adwene Emmanuel Aban no ka Galaxy squad no so ha adwene and then Franka Mankwa from the midfield omubetumi abo and this is Isaiah Nyako one pass nako and again 1-2 display omuni ball ne ball say yemfa ball nto na yen create this is a penalty opportunity omunya again where ye Bechem second goal omo share against Swedro Blacks look at the build up the sweet build up omo be call and Swedro Blacks clear and sana that very important second goal no badiama Bechem United when you give them that space omo so betimi aha but they always want to put the ball down and look at the goaler omo share Bechem again a very good with set piece and so umo advantage during set piece betimi ahawa dream pa a game to watch because players are ebesi akan e game no mu no players are omho Boat Regan Makanasem Yahweh champion Razak Alasan and Ampia Emmanuel you look at the attack of Bechem United Darwin Yeboah Augustine Okra Emmanuel Aban pe and over from the left side but Darwin Okra best substitute na ometumi confuse then Peter Midu Akwa we have Inusa and then Kwame Poku and Kwame Poku the last home game of boy Oshego against Dreams FC maybe morale booster and the confidence level no costro and remember game no ebe pa
right I know the Kotoko Bechem United game no so live on Onia TV we GPL Fie ha at the headquarters ye the Ghana Premier League no and come more but before then my young court na fe Yanko and Konkodi Kobo and free the National Sports Authority as so yeah of one cry Director General Edema the National Sports Authority the entire season no with DHA edi ho baba ne facilities be bree and our teams no use so yebopino and en kasa kakra.
So I've been joined by the Director General of the National Sports Authority, Pofuanka. 2025, it's been a lot, but it's been good so far. You were here when the Ghana Premier League was launched. We had several dignitaries, including the Chief of Staff, all being present. Let's talk about that day, the euphoria that was followed by the launch.
Sure, Mutala, and congratulations. I think you're doing a great job, the team. We've moved on. There's improvements, new innovations. We need to constantly, with a brand like Ghana Football, you need to constantly change and put in new inputs, and I'm seeing that. So that's positive. And you're right, it seems like just a few days ago, but it was a few months ago where the euphoria was here, Stoneboy among others. You know, we saw a number of high-profile dignitaries coming through from corporates, from the world of politics and entertainment. They're all here to support the league, and I'm sure Adisa Productions will be very happy with the output so far. It's a new beginning, so we can't expect that in a few months we will get all that we are expecting, but it's positive progress, and I'm looking forward to more as we head into the festive season and the new year.
But for the first time, we had government fully, supporting the Ghana Premier League. We've not had that for a long time. 1 million Ghana cedi each to the clubs. That is some relief.
Sure, financial package to all the clubs for the first time. It's in line with the promise made by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama. You know he loves sports, and it's no coincidence that the Black Stars have qualified for the World Cup for the 5th time. The Black Queens have also qualified for the World Cup. Is it for the 4th time? Or is it the 5th time? They've qualified, and other national teams as well. This has been the Wembley of Ghana football for some time. There have been challenges, but it continues to host very important games and produce very good results. The money for the clubs, beyond giving them a financial cushion, would also ease the burden of so much that they need to put into preparing for the league and starting the league. And I hope with a good production, with a good publicity, the cooperation and, partnerships with the media, we'll have more people, more crowds, turning up in future matches. It's not been easy, and it won't be. It's just been a few months, but we're seeing really positive signs, and hopefully it will continue. The trajectory would be upwards, and we'll see a better and even more better brand and content in coming months.
Now, in terms of what we see on TV, there has been a lot of applause from Ghanaians as to the quality of pitches we've seen, especially with the national facilities, Kumasi, Tamale, Accra. How has the NSA been able to keep all these facilities in shape? Because it's not easy.
Mutala, it's been challenging. It continues to be. Not long ago, I was asking the same question on the other side. And so it's a case of, I'll give you a quick one. In Kumasi, a businessman came and said, you people have been talking about this. Now you're there, go and do it. He wasn't, it was in a light-mannered fashion. In other words, we've been criticizing, albeit constructively, that we need to do A, B, C, D. Now, I'm not criticizing, but I need to find solutions. And so I'm here to try and do that. And with the constructive criticism of my colleagues in the media, we're trying to find solutions. It's been difficult. Accra, as you can see, the pitch is in a very good shape, even though the traffic of football has reduced. Accra as a folk want to try a new venue. Clubs have a psychology and a relationship with the fans where they feel that perhaps a smaller, compact place would make them more intimidating. And at times, once upon a time, Hearts of Oak playing here, full house, half stadium, it's not happening. They need to do a lot of work and find out why the fans are not turning up and engage them more. And I think that's going to work. You need to go to the fans and convince them that they need to come and watch. And also, you need to lure them. You need to attract them with something else apart from the football, which I think some clubs have been doing. The national team, they've been doing. So hopefully we'll be able to do that and maintain our pitches. As you said, it's not been easy, but with the little internally generated funds that we get, we've been putting it back to maintain the pitches so that at any given time we can have football on the pitch. Now,
you have hosted the Ghana Premier League before for several years. How would you describe the level of interest this season, especially it being live on TV3 on Nya TV?
Yeah, it's quite historic. I would have to scratch my head to recall when the Ghana Premier League was shown on multiple platforms. But of course, Unya and TV3 taking the lead. I know other platforms are also having different content, but in relation to the league, which is great. The challenge, obviously, is how do you keep a big audience watching quality production at home, and at the same time have a bigger audience watching live at the venues. That's what the EPL, the Serie A, the La Liga, the French Ligue 1, they've all been able to do. I know even in Africa, the North Africans, they've managed to find a balance. We need to find out how to do that. It's not by luck, it's not by chance, it's not, it's not matra makwe. There is a formula, and we need to be humble and honest to say that we've not found it. How do we get to that stage? And NSA is ready to help in that direction. I think we'll get there, but it will take a lot of work and collaboration.
Now, in terms of growth as well as the Ghana Premier League, have you seen any growth this season, the 2025-26 season?
Well, obviously, it's early days. However, there are some matches that have stood out in terms of quality performances. You know, there are players who've stood out. Obviously, what happens is that, unfortunately, we don't allow these players to be consistent over 2, 3, 4 seasons where we can mark them that, yes, there has been that improvement. A player is good for one season, he's off the next. So it's difficult to make that mark. But however, other respectfully smaller clubs or not necessarily traditional clubs are doing very well, and they're taking the challenge, you know, very well as against the bigger clubs, the more established clubs, Kotoko, Hearts, and the Adrianas and all the rest. So hopefully we'll have a more, you know, level playing ground where on any given match day it's anybody's game, which I think we are seeing. It might not be good news for the big clubs, but for the faithfuls and the neutrals and the investors, they would be thinking this is a good brand for us to put our money in.
Now, club owners are happy with that 1 million Ghana cedi that has come to them. They feel it's a master stroke. How do you see the Premier League in the next 3 years?
Well, we need to continue to invest, and the clubs would expect more. 1 million Ghana cedis is great. It's a commitment, a promise fulfilled by the NDC government, and it's something that we need to continue to do. But you would hear constantly my boss, the sports minister, Honorable Kofi Adams, would tell you that we can't do this alone. It's with the corporate partners. We need to collaborate. We need to work in sync, work together. His Excellency the President, by showing the way, leading by example, is sending a signal that we're putting this across, come and support us. So the big brands, as we have in South Africa, in Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, must also come on board to input in the development and the continuous, you know, upward trajectory of Ghana football. And I think we can do that. We need corporate Ghana to come in as partners, and not just as sponsors, but partners to develop the game long term. And in the next 2-3 years, I think we'll have more of that.
Of course. Now back to facilities. We know there are several Ghana Premier League venues that are not under the National Sports Authority. But if the owners of these facilities come to the NSA for help in maintaining their facilities, are you willing to do that?
I think what's happening now is that we have some level of cooperation with a number of clubs. I know the All Blacks Stadium falls under the jurisdiction of the National Sports Authority with private investment. Pando, similar, and a few others. There are others being built in Koko. Hopefully they would restart the work there and spread across Ghana, the whole sports stadium, and, private intervention and also investment. Hohoi, for example, is a good example of that. Abrankese in the Ashanti region. There are a number of them spread across, and we need to encourage that and work hand in hand with them so that, it's a give and take. They invest, the NSA supports, the NSA also puts in, and we have that relationship going forward. I think it will be a win-win situation, and it will continue, definitely.
Now, finally, is the festive season. Any message for Ghanaians, wishes for your loved ones?
Absolutely. It's almost as if, let me wear this because I see so many stars at home, so the stars are so bright, if I'm allowed to do that. Yes, it's been a blessed year so far, and it continues to be blessed. There's been ups and downs, challenges, difficulties, setbacks, but the good thing is that human fortitude, we've risen above that. We're still here, and we're going strong and stronger. There will be more challenges. We need to prepare for that. But I wish every single person connecting to the network all the best, greater success, greater laurels, greater grace in the new season. And for those who could not travel this journey with us up to this point, may their souls rest in peace. And that, of course, brings me to also sympathize with you publicly and officially on your loss, and how I so admire your bravery, and it's something that I so admire, and I wish you the very best. And my condolences once again on behalf of the NSA, the sporting fraternity. We wish you the best, and we're here to support in all we can, and keep on being strong.
The National Sports Authority Director General Yawa Pofuankra ono so Ghana Premier League said the never air corona so wedi ehon enkomo kakra e ho no yento so when the games are eba so dapende. Don't forget say there were big games because so e wo wenchi Young Apostles obone Aduana FC Aduana almost so na league log no more edasro big game wenchi.
Yes, Aduana here has results badly. Omo person mu league na few results no each other nkoyi. 3 draws in matches on Mabu Fienti. I feel also more complementary with away wins. Young Apostles so or starting year, but unim ultimate start here now watch sign because league in the baby that now know the Brekum Chelsea the relegation zone, Vision the relegation zone, and to say okay that baby mid table no the diagram over Tiaba from because Brekum Chelsea in person of relegation, and that is a game where Young Apostles be all out. But Ediana, trust me, I will more there, especially when you man normal for more any Charles David Kamara finding on feet. I bet me I did at the Apostles, but I want to see an improved performance because Apostles say of you normally a sight to watch, or a delight to watch. It's we share the young chap who shooting. Omukitabo na won't say omunibon, but from goalkeeper Zuka Masaudu. Omema in the beautiful game, but say almost have confidence to beat Aduana FC. And a challenge because Aduana psychologically, mentally, I'm a very strong side. Young Apostles. This is a game Aduana, but Young Apostles would have to do more work if they want to avoid a defeat. Right,
Go Stars, and so Bo Fie, the dreaded dance park against Dreams. Dreams in a 3-1 victory over Brekum Chelsea. Ewa Kaswa. Ebenya any so be was a game.
Oh, it means now Fie 3-1, but I want to know 21 points. We not just one, and the upper side are weak. One of the weakest side away, Dreams FC and Gold Stars. These are games we born with ease because one of the difficult side to beat at home, Gold Stars. Yeah. And last year, Dreams got 5 points war, but it looks like that team will hear the same team this year, and in a difference. But I'm with the new coach, Marcus Abba from Swiss, and they all won the credentials no about Canada.
Yeah,
Kotoku Royals, on them kind of qualify for Premier.
Yeah.
So understanding the terrain, no go into this game, but it doesn't change anything from Gold Stars. Only a difficult side at the Dance Park. These are games I don't see how Dreams FC would even find a point. I bet me 2-0, 3-0 a year win at the Mabibi Gold Stars.
Right. Honorable Sports Minister and our Sports and Recreation Minister, Openi Kofi Adams, but also Akasa Edia how far the Ghana Premier League, don't forget, said the Sports Ministry in partnership with the Ghana Football Association, NFA, at the Sub Productions, and at this year Premier League, air live on TV, ever Ghana Nibia, Enyabi na Oshe. Sports Minister, Wakasa Kakra, Edia Pempensua, Ghana Premier League, Edru.
You were one of the persons who was very vocal prior to the 2024 election that Ghana Premier League needed to raise its standard. So far, how would you rate what you've seen in the 2025-26 season?
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for always keeping us reminded about what it is that we indicated, and possibly that helps us to see how we focus on what we must do. Truly, the Ghana's Premier League was so bad. It was very low during those periods, and many will admit, including even those who were superintending over the league, they will admit that it was not the best. I must say that yes, we haven't hit 100%, but there has been massive improvement, especially with the joining of the Adisa Production Limited into the system in terms of broadcasting. Now you are able to see a lot more live games. The production quality is high, And I have traveled around Africa and the world, and I receive commendation. Those who follow on social media have a platform to be able to follow. And commentary during the games is top-notch. And the analysis, pre and post, also adds some information to it. So we are traveling. We haven't reached the destination yet, but I think the speed is good. We just will have to make sure that we add more fuel so we don't run out of fuel along the journey. But I think that the Premier League has drastically improved. What we need to do, I know that may be your follow-up questions and the rest, is to also see to improve the management also of the games. There's still room for improvement. The team owners, team managers, supporters, fans, and all of us will have to, of course, officiating. There have been some improvement because of the live coverage. So when people know that, okay, the game is being watched live, they are a little bit careful. But others are still having some very bad officiating decisions. So we need to improve on that. And once we get all these things corrected and the fan engagement, we tend to improve it. The club owners, club management, and leadership of the various clubs also improve their governance structure. I think that we will arrive.
Now, Honorable, one of the most significant things we saw is that the government was fully engaged in helping our Premier League get to the standard it deserves. Now, clubs have been given 1 million Ghana cedi. That is even bigger than the prize money they
used to get in the past.
Yeah. I mean, how did you guys come together and think of an initiative like this? Because the club owners are extremely delighted.
Football especially, and sports generally, is money. You need money to be able to get anything and everything kicking. So we understood that principle. They say an army can never go to war on an empty stomach. So before they move to war, they must be well fed. So that whilst they are at war, even if there's no food, they know that they were properly fed before they moved in, and that it is the situation they find themselves. That is why they are not even getting food yet. And once they cross a certain obstacle, there will be food again. So we have this understanding, and we know we cannot leave it for the club management alone in these very challenging situations that they found themselves. So government, together with private sector and the FA, sat together and we developed this model as we promised in 2024 when we were running the campaigns, and these have come through. And we must say a big thank you to all those who supported this initiative, and we're still inviting more to come on board. Government cannot do it and should not do it alone. The private sector would have to be involved. Let's fund and support our local league. Once we do that, we are helping develop sports, helping develop football, and giving talents the space to be able to mature to the level that all of us will benefit from.
Now, that is for the clubs and the relief that comes to them. But the ordinary Ghanaian people, the ordinary Ghanaian person had to pay money to be able to watch the Ghana Premier League on pay TV. What is the thought process behind making it accessible to every individual, irrespective of where you find yourself?
So for everything that you do,
and that brought APL on board. Yeah.
For everything that you do, you must also have a strategy behind it. So you want people to come on board. You want sponsors to also come on board in the future. Some sponsors will also be looking at the eyeballs before they kick in. But if you say right from the word go, you want everybody to pay, how are you going to get the eyeballs? So we thought that, well, can we get partners who are willing to come on board and sacrifice a bit for us to build the ecosystem and to build up the eyeballs? And once you build up the eyeballs, businesses will be interested to come in because they know that when we sponsor, we'll get the eyeballs. When we sponsor, we will get the people a lot more watching and also seeing us. And let me be so grateful once more to the Adisa production for coming on board and the quality of production that they have introduced into our footballing system and league system.
But for the actors themselves, that is the players, the managers. Now I have some scouts outside who call me daily for videos. Now it's accessible. They even watch the games on there. How is it helping our players, the visibility that is given to them?
Well, for every player who in the past thought that I needed to run to even war-torn countries to go and play because of visibility, now you have that visibility at home. So I want to even tell players, those who force that they just want to leave the shores to get to other places so they can be seen, just stay in Ghana here. Play and play well. You are being watched all over the world.
All right.
Because of the production that TV3 and its related stations are offering.
Yeah.
Onua and all the other voice broadcast systems that you have. You are being watched, you are being listened as your name gets mentioned. And so scouts can reach to you. You don't need to run to South Africa or any other place to be seen. And so we soon will get to our own levels of what? The super sports. And you'll be here and the world will see you. So that is also good for them. In the past, you are playing very well, you are locked only in here. Now today, when you play, the world is seeing you. And so players know that this improvement is not only in the allowances that will come to you, but it is also about how the world sees you. The world is able to see you live or through recorded.
Now, there seems to be some excitement about this year's Ghana Premier League. What is government's commitment to ensure that that excitement continues for maybe the next 4 years, the next 5 years, or who knows?
Well, the excitement will be forever. And for me and His Excellency the President, our agenda is to make sure that every other year it improves. What will happen next year is going to be bigger. The year after next year will even be bigger. And it will continue to grow till we have reached the peak, where we think that there is no room for growth but sustenance. That is the intention. We want to do it in such a way that nobody in future can have the guts to do things that will bring our sports and football down.
Why are you so much interested in our local game? Because we've not had sports ministers who talked about a local game like you do. What is the secret?
You cannot develop your game. You cannot benefit from it if you don't develop your local game. Because that is where everything starts and that is where everything ends. If your local game, your local league is not strong, forget it. You will not gain, you will not benefit from your talents. They will come and buy them for peanuts and you get very little. But when you strengthen your local leagues and they know that your league itself is also competitive, one, sponsorship will come. Two, when your players are seen, are scouted and found to be good and they are buying them or you are transferring them, you will get value for money. They will not pick them for peanuts. But because they feel like our league was weak, they will just take your players for very little and take them to sometimes a third club in Europe. And when they are reselling them few months later, you hear the figures that they mention. By which time you are not getting the bigger percentage. They are getting that. I want to see that Ghanaians who invest in players, in sports, be the first beneficiary of the transfers. And the transfers, of course, would also be larger, will be enhanced. You wait and see. Let's continue implementing this progressively for the next 2 years and see what would happen to transfer figures that you will be hearing. You will hear different figures.
We are hearing some figures that some players have been bought recently, and it's a testament of the visibility and the clouds that the league has currently.
Exactly.
But Honorable, what message do you have for Ghanaians who love and enjoy the Ghana Premier League?
You see, one thing I will tell them is that we admit things were not as good as we expected them to be. We are working very hard to raise the bar, and we are raising the bar. We need their involvement and their support. It can only get better under our system.
So you accept corporate Ghana if they come on board?
That is what we want them to do. And we want the fans to come along. The game will grow with their involvement. They must participate. They should not give up. We must aim to building it now for the tomorrow. So that tomorrow, Ghana's Premier League will become like any other league that we all run to. That somebody will be driving, rushing home to go and watch an EPL or go and watch this or go and watch that. That's how we want our Premier League to be. So that people will be dying that this weekend game, I must be there. People will pay for seats and make the seats permanent, that they know that this is our seat for, and everybody will know that this is the seat for this person. That is the type of drive that we want, and we need them on board.
Well, I travel every weekend, so I know the excitement that is building up. But what message do you also have for Adisa Production Limited? When they came on board, a few, their track record didn't include football. It was reality shows. TV3, Onya were not known for their football. But so far, how would you rate their performance?
I would say that Adisa Production Limited and me, we have the same external respect at the time we are coming in. I came into this ministry and people thought I have no sports background. They haven't heard anything sports about me.
So
I cannot do sports.
The name of
one Black Star player, I don't know anything. But so far, I think that it's been good. The same thing with Adisa Production Limited. Those who thought that it is just showbiz, they have proven to them that the quality they exert in all the other things they do, they have brought it to sports and they are raising the bar, and I want to thank them for that.
Well, I am one person who eats a humble pie. I didn't believe that you could do this work, but I've been surprised. I'm surprised that I've taken my words back because you've performed admirably well in the first few months. You saw the Black Galaxies recently in action against Bafana Bafana. Yeah. Do you think a couple of them could get the chance to be part of the World Cup?
Well, we are not excluding the local guys, but you know that, like I've always said, as a manager of a sport, especially football, emotions should not take more than 5% of your space. You need to make sure that you give those who follow the game with emotions 50% and above opportunity to enjoy the game. So we would, as much as possible, give opportunity to everybody, but we'll go for the best. We will go for the best. So one other thing that I want to tell my colleagues, or the boys, the local ones, is that play and play, train and train, and if it becomes possible for you to be in, you will be in. That's all that I can tell them. Continue to train. Have no space of thinking that you think you have reached. No. There's no level for a footballer until you have retired from playing and say that, oh, I have reached, so I'm not going to train again. So continue to train, no matter how difficult it is. Create your own systems of training, so you can be up there.
Honorable, your message finally to Ghanaians, Christmas message to Ghanaians who even lost faith in our sports and said that it wasn't working in the past. Now people are believing that there's something that we can work towards.
Well, there's no better time than Christmas, when the good Lord himself was birthed to save us later, when he was crucified and he resurrected for our sins. And so this is the best time to celebrate and salute all. I can understand why they were pained to the point that it got to a point they were taking sports, especially football, out of their hearts. But the same way, I am happy that gradually they are getting back. Let's do this together. We want to thank you. We want to celebrate with you. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas. And of course, a 2026 that will be more prosperous than the 2025. And we are going to see greater things.
Enti we ene nkoma the sports minister Kofi Adams ono so etimi ede atudwa. Ya wo games ne kakra ye be hwe wo hanom but ma yentwe ye ho fa aboafo ne krato embrasema mienu. Ye ba Mo Shaban ede the predictions ebe breme on the other games aka. Ye ba sisia. Era se ogusua ere woni etra live e woni TV so aha GPL Fie the headquarters be di Ghana Premier League mo enkomo mo yes emre no I am ankasa yendi komo pretty shortly major predictions throughout a year the games ever so has in Samatex
Heart of Oak win against FC Samatex.
Ooh. Heart of Lions Midiama.
Heart of Lions win against Midiama.
Vision FC Nations FC.
Vision FC or draw. Vision FC or draw.
Kotoko Bechim.
Kotoko win or draw.
Okay. Gold Stars Dreams FC.
Gold Stars win.
Basake Holy Stars Hoho United.
Basake Holy Stars win.
Young Apostles Adriana FC.
Young Apostles win or draw.
Okay. Swedro All Blacks Karela United.
Swedro All Blacks win or draw based on our recent home form. Enkoye.
Brekum Chelsea Wonders.
Brekum Chelsea straight win.
Right. I know Mohammed Shaban and what's in Kanamo. Ye could Bruna and 25th of December. Maybe I don't pay me quite sorry. Because me matter this yeah sorry 25th anopa. It me quite sorry akobon paye. Me ponfi happen me kofi akwakoda.
Okoda.
Me pay me ho asem.
Okay.
Me kofi akwakoda.
Okay.
O message be at the Ghana for from January 1st up to the 25th of December. Enye easy. Message be na odi ja mo bronya.
Well, meka say midobi bia say omo support here, especially the GPL build up show. Agrofie show ayeye ni na ewa hanum no omo support here the bia say again president of the Ghana Football Association, the general secretary of the Ghana Football Association midobi bia say omo na so ya sene ama bibia koye then ebusianfo ni na omo follow omo support here bi o come to me send message so okwachi asolo mame and some of them omo mfa show ni dia go bibia or hweyen and obi o ko hweyen for the first time bronya yi owofie I'm making sure say because of GPL more messy this show. I'm making sure say every Thursday 9 to 10 p.m. between the feed in at and so me hope say afisi say near team kwem once afidi ewa na yetimi asan celebrity and that we miss me kofi akwakoda say asofudie ni nti no me kofi akwakoda.
Right. And no Mo Shaban and what's in Canada. Don't forget to say yeah we see a year new year. So nyame yadoma ene na sene na ye wo new year no mu na se bibia de di na se ye gie ni na bibia tempacho aseda kese enkoma Ghana ni bia wa support the Ghana Premier League Ghana ni bia o follow Onua TV Ghana ni bia o follow Solomon Amankwa Ghana ni bia o support APL no bacho aseda kese enkoma ye we should be a Merry Christmas and a prosperous new year nyame ya dom na next week ye share ye nyina ye new year resolution messages beba Wamwa ayo madwe so mo nware 2026 no ye be force mo maware 2026 bisa up in 17 mo bia pressure nti nyame ya adoma nkofo bi ya agro hene mo ne ba ko me pese me body dia menye case producer director extraordinaire me mbodin but obi anim ne ho nyame ya adoma next week ye be list no ye be bubo bi adin said ebeya wan ware na 2026 twemu a ye be wuse kura bia ebeje na yetimi de atwa so media de Solomon Amankwa the Superman Mo Shaban ebe come ho eme de dwuman on the part of the entire production crew every sound air light every cameras directors switchers but obi obeboa bia no you say a very big thank you enko efeba yes sorry that's in there you be say aha Onua TV we GPL Fie akramo